All right. Good day. You're welcome to another session of the Startup Growth Program, powered by Startup Launch Code. The Startup Growth Program is a bi-weekly program where we have different sessions to discuss different topics as it relates to startup growth. So, what I will be discussing today, we'll be looking at understanding user onboarding process. Now, it is important to listen carefully and jot important points as we go through these interesting topics together. Like during one of my post on my one of my social media handles when it comes to products as a founder or as a business. You have just one opportunity to impress your user. So your first impression that or the first experience that users have with your product really matters, and the way you can give your users that great experience to actually want to use your product is when you understand a user onboarding process. So you need to give them a very good user experience when onboarding these users to your platform. So I'll advise you to sit back, pick up your pens and paper, take a cup of water or coffee, and let's ride on this interesting topic together. So, a little bit introduction about myself. My name is Daud Kennedy, and I'm a growth specialist with Startup Launch Code. So, what are the things we'll be learning through this section? So the first thing we'll be looking at is to actually understand what is meant by user onboarding. Then after that, we need to understand why it is important for you to give or to understand what user onboarding is. So you need to understand the importance of user onboarding. Then you need to know what exactly makes a good customer onboarding experience. Like I said, giving your user the first experience is through the onboarding journey, and if you are not able to give them a very good user experience when you're onboarding them on your platform, there is every tendency that this customer is going to leave your product to your competition. So you need to understand what exactly makes a good customer onboarding experience. So after that, we'll be looking at what are the steps to successfully onboard a customers. Then after that, we now look at what are the ways you can use to improve your customer onboarding process. So like I said, it's going to be a very interesting session. So let's go ahead. So what exactly is user onboarding? So user onboarding, for my definition, is the process of introducing your product to a user and assisting them to experience the aha moment. Now, when we talk about aha moment, it simply refers to that moment that your product experienced the first key value or key action that actually brought them to your product. So let's take for example, you are a social network or social platform, for example, where users can actually connect with friends and family. So let's say the first aha moment is when they are able to actually search for their friend and add their friend to their network on your platform. So that is the aha moment. So the onboarding, user onboarding for that particular product will now be you getting them through that process until they actually add their first friend and search for their friend and add that their friend to their network. So when we talk about user experience, just the process of introducing your product to your user and assisting them to experience the first aha moment and other values that comes with your product, which now makes them become a loyal customer. Now, if a user does not experience the aha moment for your product, if they are not getting value from your product, they automatically will leave your product for other competitors that where they can actually get value and experience the aha moments they'll be looking for in such a product. So you need to understand that user onboarding is just the process of introducing your product to your users and assisting them to experience that fulfillment or the aha moment that comes with your product and other values that actually comes with your product. So now that you understand what user onboarding is, now why is it important for you to know to have a user onboarding? So what is the importance of user onboarding? Now says an excellent customer onboarding experience is more than the purpose or it's more than the process of teaching customers how to use a product or service. Now it's beyond getting users to use your product. Is beyond teaching them how to use your product. Now you need to understand that user onboarding is the beginning of an ongoing relationship between you and your customer. So once you need to have that at the back of your mind that user onboarding is not just about showing them how to navigate between the pages of your product or your website. Is beyond just getting them to use the product and experiencing the aha moment. You need to put it at the back of your mind that the user onboarding process is actually the first point of relationship, an ongoing relationship between your customer and your organization or your product, because as a business, the only way you can make recurring revenue is when a user continues to use your product for a very long time. So you need to put that at the back of your mind that your user onboarding process is the beginning of a long time relationship. And how do you treat a long time relationship? You care for it, you nurture it till so that you can have a very good and long lasting relationship. So you need to understand that user onboarding is beyond just getting users and teaching them how to use your product. It's about keeping a long time relationship between your new customer and your product or service. Now, you also need to understand that users are much more likely to churn if they don't realize value quickly. So remember, for my definition of user onboarding, is the process of introducing your product to your users and also getting them to experience the aha moment. Now, when it comes to onboarding, you need to make it you need to reduce the time to value. So time to value is actually the time it takes a user to experience the aha moment that comes with your product. Now let's take a car riding platform, for example. Now the aha moment will be for me to be able to schedule or to book a ride on the application. So the user onboarding should allow me to quickly, as much as possible, allow me to book my first ride on the platform. So if it's taking me longer time to get to the point of me booking my first ride on the platform, I might lose interest in the platform. So you need to understand that your user onboarding process should ensure that users quickly as much as possible are able to get the value that comes with your product, because if they don't get that value on time, they are likely to what to churn and leave your product. Say helping a customer accelerate time to value is key to churn prevention. So you need to try as much as possible through your onboarding process, help users to get the value that comes with your product as fast as possible. So now that we understand why it is important to have an onboarding process, which is that it helps us to reduce or prevent churn of a new customer. So what exactly makes a good onboarding experience? What when can you say that, oh, I'm giving my customers, my new users, I'm giving them a very good customer onboarding experience? So let's see what actually makes a good onboarding experience. Says any customer onboarding experience that helps a customer learn how to use a product and get value from it quickly is considered a good onboarding experience. So this is just trying to iterate my last point that onboarding, you can only say that, oh, my I'm giving my users an excellent good customer onboarding experience is when you are able to take your user from point A to point B quickly simply means they are able to know how to use your product and get that value quickly from your product. So you need to always try as much as possible to optimize and reduce the time it takes a new customer to actually experience the value that comes with your product. If you are able to do that, I can guarantee you that is going to go a long way in helping you to reduce customer churn rate for your product. So a good user onboarding experience is when you are able to quickly teach your user how to use your product and they're able to quickly get the value that comes with your product. So you need to keep that at the back of your mind. How long is it taking your user to actually know how to use your product, and how long is it taking them to have that fixed user value that comes with your product? Now, what are the steps to successful customer or user onboarding? Now, you need to know that there are series of steps that is required for a new user of a product to actually experience the first aha moments that comes with a product. So, what are the steps? Let's see them. Let's see the steps one after the other. So, the first one is welcome and orientation. It said user onboarding should include an introduction of the to the app or platform and an orientation to the main navigation pattern. So as a user or as a founder, you need to understand, you need to ensure that the user onboarding process include how users can actually use the platform, the user interface, how can they navigate from one page of the application to another. You need to your user onboarding needs to contain that. Aside that, I also get helped users to know how exactly is the flow like. Okay, what's the first thing they need to do? Do they need to give you that information? Do they need to give you their number? Do they need to do that KYC. So you need to let them know how to navigate and use the platform. That is where the welcome and orientation comes in. Said help users understand the general purpose of the app and how to access the pages and areas needed to complete key tasks. So you need to let them know during the onboarding process that okay, this is where the where you can search for a new car for a car um sharing platform as an example. So you need to let them know, okay, this is where you can actually search for a cab, this is where you can book your ride, this is where you can check the driver's information. So you need to let them know all those important steps needed for them to actually carry out those key tasks that will lead them to actually experiencing the aha moment that comes with your product. So that is the first step. So the second step is configuration. Now there are some products that actually there are some product that requires either installing a third-party software or doing some other configuration before they can actually get the full benefit of the product. So you need to include all those informations and setup so that they know how to get started quickly. So some user onboarding should guide the user through any configuration step needed to accomplish the important outcome. So you don't just leave your users hanging. You need to take them through all those configuration and setup that is needed for them to actually do important stuff so that they can get to that aha moment on time. Remember, key to excellent user onboarding is when they are able to use the platform and experience the aha moment at a very short time. So that is number two, configuration. Now number three is setup tasks and payoff setup task and payoff task. So when a user experience action and outcome that initially brought them to the process, so you need to get users to actually do all the necessary setup and actually take those important steps that will help them to actually achieve that value that brought them to your product. So you just don't leave them once they've downloaded your application, they've signed up on your platform. Now something actually brought them to downloading your platform. So you need to take them through that setup and tasks that will actually get them to experience that value that brought them to your product. Said effective user onboarding will guide the users through the payoff tasks while calling attention to the setup tasks that makes the complete process. So you don't just leave them hanging. Take them through the important setup. Do they need to upload their image? Do they need to add their thumbprint? Do they need to take a picture of themselves? So any tasks that will enable them to actually experience that aha moment, you need to guide them through so that they can actually achieve that particular purpose that brought them to your app. So those are the three steps that is involved in a user onboarding process. So the first step is welcome and orientation. The second step is configuration, and the last is the setup task and the payoff task. Now let's look at what are the ways that you can improve your user onboarding experience. Now, you need to always ensure that you give your user the best form of user experience. Now, what are the ways you can improve your user experience? Number one, start onboarding as soon as possible. Now, as a user, if I'm downloading or signing up to a platform, I'm expecting that okay, I need to be taken through how to use the platform. Now, even after sign up, I don't get probably an email or something that guides me through how to actually use the platform. I might There's every tendency that I'm going to like jump the platform and go for a better competition. So never delay user onboarding process. Don't wait until the user has actually figured out things for themselves. Don't even assume that a new user can figure out things themselves. So you should never delay your onboarding process. Don't You should always have an onboarding plan right from the moment a user either download your application or sign up on your application. Either is a free tool or either is a paid tool. So even if they are signing up to try the free version of your application, you should have an onboarding plan, an onboarding process that will take them from the point of sign up till they actually even become a paying user. So never ever delay an onboarding process. That's number one. Number two, ensure that you personalize the onboarding experience for each customer. Now, there is no two customers that are the same. What I'm looking for in on a platform is different from what Mr. B is looking for on a platform. So try as much as possible to personalize each experience based on each user's preference. So, for example, maybe for me, I'm just looking for a platform that I want to use just one or two of their features. Now, you should personalize my experience both based on that feature that I'm looking for on that application. Don't just bombard me with every feature that comes with the application. No, there's a reason why I signed up on your platform. There's something I was looking for when I was signing up on your platform. So you should be able to personalize my onboarding experience based on my interest and not just giving me some random stuff just to use your application. So try as much as possible to personalize every user's experience based on their interest. Number three, create a self-service onboarding process. Now, many users prefer to find the answers to questions they have on their own. Yes, many people does not like to be spoon-fed. If you can create a system where people can actually find answers to their questions, the better for you. I would prefer to figure things out myself. If there is a way I can do it than me trying to like reach the customer service or call the customer care that oh I need to do so and so. Is there a way you can help me? So try as much as possible to create a self care, create FAQ, create how to videos. If you are a software as a service platform, create how to do videos, write content that will guide users on how to use your platform, how to navigate your platform. So that way it helps users to actually find answers to questions without actually needing to actually contact any of your service, your customer service or your customer success team. Then the next way you can improve your customer onboarding process is using gamification. So you can turn your onboarding experience into a game to customer. Now this does two things. One is helps customer to be engaged all through the onboarding process, because gaming gamification is a way to actually increase user experience. So if there's a way you can gamify the onboarding experience of your on your platform, then that would be a very good thing to implement. Then another way is to actually seek feedback from your users. You can't improve when you don't get feedback. So ask questions, ask your users for feedback. Oh, what do you think I can improve on my onboarding process? You can actually also keep track of where people are stuck through the onboarding process. Probably you are able to track what they are doing on your application. Can I use, oh, I see, okay, this my users are actually getting stuck in this page, in this aspect of my product, and you can now improve on that. So these are some of the ways you can actually improve user onboarding experience for your product. So let's just do a quick recap of what we discussed. So we discussed about what exactly is user onboarding. And we said user onboarding is just the process of introducing your product to users and assisting them to experience the aha moment that comes with your product. We also looked at the importance of user onboarding, and you were able to understand that having a user onboarding will go a long way to helping reduce customer churn for your product. Then we also looked at what exactly makes a good user experience, and the what actually make a good user experience is if you are able to, one, teach your user how to use your products, and you're able to quickly get them to experience the aha moment or the value that comes with your product. Then we also went ahead to look at the steps involved in successful user onboarding. We talked about the welcome and orientation. We talked about the configuration, and we also talked about the setup task and the payoff task. Then we look at the different ways we can improve our customer onboarding process. We talked about trying to personalize the onboarding experience for each customers based on their interest. We also talked about starting the onboarding process as soon as possible. You don't need to delay on your user onboarding process. We also look at creating self-service onboarding processes, like having a walkthrough video, having how-to articles and videos, so that users can actually find answers to their questions without needing to contact the customer service or the customer success team. Then we also look at gamifying your user onboarding process. And lastly, we talked about getting feedback from your customer, so you know where to improve and what to improve along the user onboarding process. Yeah. So that would be a wrap for this session. So you can reach out to us, you can follow us on our social media handles. We are on Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn as well, Startup Launch Code, and you can actually also book a 30-minute strategic session with our growth experts, where we help you look at your existing growth process, look at where we can help you improve and move your product to becoming the next unicorn. So till another time, do have a blessed day. Charles.